Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Terence Crawford was never fighting Jaron Boots Ennis. And look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And as you all know, according to BoxingScene.com, the IBF have officially stripped Terence Crawford of his belt due to the fact that he is not defending against Jaron Boots Ennis next. Now, what's interesting is the reason why they're not defending against Jaron Boots Ennis next was listed because he's fighting Errol Spences Jr. in the rematch. We already know this has to be at 154 because Errol Spences has already stated he will not fight at 147 pounds ever again. Errol Spences has already said his next fight forward, he's fighting at 154. So we know the rematch with Errol Spences and Terence Crawford will be at 154 pounds. So I don't understand why anybody's mad that Terence Crawford has gotten stripped of his belt, because Terence Crawford had already came out and stated that he's not going to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. He's already said this multiple times. He said he's not going to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. He said it's 100% about the money. Jaron Boots Ennis is not a big money fight. At this point in his career, he deserves to fight in big money fights. This is what Terence Crawford said, and he's not going to fight Boots Ennis. He's already rejected that fight. So it makes sense for him to get stripped because A, he's not going to be fighting at 147 anymore. B, he's already rejected a Jaron Boots Ennis fight. So it only makes perfect sense that he's no longer the champion. Terence Crawford's an excellent fighter, but he's continuing his legacy at a higher weight class, at a new weight class, and that makes perfect sense to me. It also makes sense that Jaron Boots Ennis was elevated to the full IBF welterweight championship while Terence Crawford was completely removed from the ratings. So that makes sense as well. Why would he be in the welterweight ratings when he's no longer fighting at welterweight? I think people have to open their eyes. Terence Bud Crawford is moving up in weight. This is not some attack on Terence Bud Crawford. This is actually simply what's happening. Terence Crawford said he was not fighting Boots. He's not fighting at 147 pounds. Why would he still be a world champion at 147? It simply doesn't make any sense. I mean, let's be honest and unbiased. We've even seen Terence Bud Crawford state that it was hard for him to make 147 pounds. So if Bud is saying it was hard for him to make 147, what makes anybody think that he's coming back to that weight? He's already dismissed the Boots fight. He's already accepted the rematch with Errol Spences. And Errol Spences is already talking about it has to happen at 154. We know what's next. And that's Errol Spences Jr. at 154. Terence Bud Crawford is looking for big money paydays.